Welcome to Take Notice, Amplifying Black Stories. I'm your host, Allison Preisinger-Higgins. Take Notice, Amplifying Black Stories is a podcast exploring society, culture, and current events through conversation. We aspire to create an open, respectful, and equitable space where guests may feel free to share their truth and lived experiences. Our core values are rooted in community, connection, and personal development. Stories help us learn, relate, and grow. We are here to listen, to take notice. Thank you for being with us. I would like to acknowledge the land on which this episode was created. I would like to show gratitude to the traditional ancestral land of the Coast Salish people, including the Duwamish people past and present. Land acknowledgement statements are an important part of honoring those whose land we now live and work on. We begin each episode this way to help spark ideas and keep these conversations in the front of our minds so that we may continue to be open to doing better. I encourage listeners to research the land on which you live and are listening right now. Recognizing this is just the beginning. Some additional next steps to consider would be to seek out the stories of Native people from our shared history and today. Spend time asking yourself difficult questions and challenging norms that may be linked to colonialism. Engage in your community around topics like land tax, curriculum, hiring practices, decision-making, organizing, and reparations. Seek out media created by Native people. The more you explore, challenge, and learn, the more questions may arise, but this is how we grow and connect. Thank you for joining us for Take Notice, Amplifying Black Stories. I hope this episode reaches you in a warm and healing environment in the face of the division that we are confronted with throughout our country. Hopefully you were able to celebrate and honor our veterans over Memorial Day weekend in a way that brought you closer to your community and families. It was a joy to connect with Alfred Jackson for this episode. We discussed many topics, including his pursuit of the performing arts since he was young, people who deeply influenced his pursuits, and performing on cruise ships. We also talk about the effect of COVID on the entertainment industry and his upcoming album, which is due out June 17th. Born and raised in the neighborhood of South Central Los Angeles, Alfred Jackson began his musical journey at the Marla Gibbs Performing Arts School and later the Amazing Grace Conservatory under the direction of both Wendy Raquel Robinson and Tracy Coley. It was there that Jackson's love of performing continued to blossom and grow. His formal education, alongside his natural capabilities, provided him with multiple unique opportunities, including sharing the stage and recording with some of music greats, including Diane Warren, Rodney Jerkins, Michael Cox, and Stevie Jay, to name a few. It also led Jackson to appear at some of music's most legendary venues, including House of Blues, the Roxy, Ivar, and the Key Club. He's had a great deal of success internationally, touring in Asia, Europe, and the Caribbean to captivated audiences. And you get to hear about some of that in this conversation. So thank you for supporting Take Notice and our guests, and thank you for being with us. Now let's get to the conversation with Alfred Jackson. All right. Good to see you this afternoon, Alfred. Thanks for joining me on Take Notice. How are you today?
I'm good, Allison. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, great. Yeah, it's sunny here. I'm in Seattle, and are you in LA right now?
Yes, I'm in Los Angeles.
Nice.
I'm glad you got some sun out there in Seattle.
I know.
I actually just got back in town. I was on a cruise. So when I got home, I was like, so it's great to be home.
Oh, that's nice.
I've been traveling for a few weeks, so it's good to be home for a month and just chill.
That sounds really nice. Where were you traveling on the cruise?
We went to Cabo. So I did a show on the cruise ship. We left from Los Angeles to Cabo. Before that, I was in Arizona doing a tour for 2 weeks. So we did Arizona to the boat. So it's just been an ongoing thing. So it's good to be home.
Yeah, I bet after being gone for so long, that sounds nice.
Absolutely.
Get some rest.
Yes.
Nice.
I don't even know what rest is anymore, you know? I don't.
Just going. Yeah. So you're performing your own show, is that correct?
Yeah, so what I do when outside of my artist stuff, what pays the bills, because I'm an indie artist, I'm in a
Mm-hmm.
group called Uptown. We're guest entertainers on cruise ships. So we we do Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, Norwegian, Princess, all the different ships, since we're back in motion since the
Right.
pandemic and everything. So it's definitely been cool to be back at work and adjusting to where we are in the world.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really good. Yeah, because it was at least a year that there were no cruises. Is that correct?
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
crazy because in 2020 we had a full itinerary. I mean,
Oh,
I was set. I was like, "Oh,
wow.
this is gonna be great." And then everything happened. We were in Arizona, and they started canceling all our shows. So then I went home and I stayed with my mom and my sister and my grandma. We all stayed in the same house during lockdown,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just reality just hitting, being in this entertainment business. For me, that's the only thing I do. I sing, I dance, I act. So we were shut down. So it's like, where does this income come from?
Yeah.
How do I survive now that that's been taken away? Yes, I have stuff in my savings, but I'm in the process of buying a house. What do I do
Oh,
now?
right.
And it was hard, but thank God my mom was there, and it was time needed to be with the family, because when you're in this business, you travel a lot and you don't get to spend time with your family, because you may come home for a week and then you're gone for a month and then you're home for 3 days. So it's like spurts. So to be able to chill with my grandmother, my mother, and my sister was definitely something that was needed. And it just allowed me to even have moments with my sister like we did when we were children, pulling
Oh,
pranks on each other and stuff like that.
yeah.
But then when we went back to work in 2021 in June, it was like, oh, how is this going to be? So there were so many guidelines and rules. You can't get off the ship. Guest entertainers can't get off the ship, but you can go
Mm.
to all these beautiful places so you can look from the ship, but you can't get
Oh,
off.
no.
So
Wow.
yeah. So adjusting to that, and now we're in the process of now we're allowed to get off the ship. So that's beautiful. It just happened. So I'm excited about that. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Wow.
what I do when I'm not doing my artist stuff. But I find time for that as well. But that helps me fund my project.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's always a balance when you're a
Yes.
creator and an artist. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
It's one of those things, because you have to find the balance, because you really want to push your project, but because you're the one pushing it, you got to go to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hence not knowing what relaxing is.
Right. So as soon as I get home, my brain is like, okay, so what do we do now? You got to push this new record. You got to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Never ending. Yeah.
Never ending, never
I'm
ending.
excited to hear more about that, but let's jump back a little bit. So you grew up in LA as well, in Los Angeles as
Yes.
well, is that correct?
Born and raised in Los Angeles.
What area of Los Angeles?
Mainly South Central. In my younger years, my mom moved around a lot. So we stayed in Inglewood for a few years. We moved to Long Beach, but South Central is where I spent most of my teenage years.
And I interviewed your sister a few weeks ago, so I know
You
you were
did.
her and then your mom. So yeah, that was fun. So it's awesome to be able to connect with both of you.
Oh wow,
So
yeah, and thank you
yeah,
for interviewing her. That's my
yeah.
baby. I feel like I raised her, so
Yeah, yeah. What was it
yeah.
like growing up in that area and with your family and everything?
It's funny. So because my mom moved around a lot, at one point we moved to the Inland Empire briefly, where she had like a 2 bedroom apartment. So it was kind of the suburbs, but it was interesting because where we stayed was considered the lower class of the
Mm,
suburbs, which is very interesting. I don't know why that was the thing, but that's what it was considered. So because we were in the arts, my mom decided, I have to move back to Los Angeles. You guys are going to performing arts school on the weekends. Alfred's in the performing arts high school. This is too much on me. So we moved to South Central. And I remember her saying South Central. And I was like, so we're going to leave here and move to South Central? Like, why are we doing that? And she said, because this is what I can afford. And if you want to pursue your career, this is what we're going to do.
mm.
So we moved to South Central, and it was lower income building. The great thing about it for me was we were able to have our own rooms in the 3 bedroom compared to being out in the suburbs.
Mm-hmm.
So my sister had her space, I had my space, and it was adjustment, but it was also beautiful. You know, a lot of times when we think of the stereotypes that have been created around our community, we get there and then we go, wait, this is actually great. It's actually cool to wake up in the morning to hear this type of music playing really loud next door, or the beauty of, you know, when we think of graffiti, we think of vandalism and stuff, but it's also the community crying out, but it's also art. You know, when you really look at it, it's actually art. So that for me growing up was a beautiful thing to experience and see.
Yeah, which is a little different than where you were in the suburbs. Is that correct? Is that some of the differences?
Yeah. Yes. So it was an adjustment, but it was a great adjustment.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, we're LA kids. Me and my sister, we are LA kids.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know what you mean about the graffiti part. My husband and I were noticing in the Seattle area, there's a lot more graffiti than there was in this area. Like if you're driving up I-5 or whatever, that you get to see on a drive than we used to. There was always graffiti, but there's a lot more, it seems like. And I don't know what to attribute it to, but maybe the pandemic. I don't know, but it's interesting.
It's very interesting. It's a well, like I said, it's art, but it's also a cry out. It's also bringing attention to whatever's going on in the world, whether it's a mural of something, you'll see like artists that have been posted, and you go, wow, that's really amazing. Or you go downtown and you'll see a tag of whatever that crew is, and when you think about those crews that do it out of art, but that they're tagging their line because they did this, that's like a brotherhood or a sisterhood or whatever. So you have to look at it differently now, because that's what's going on. People are expressing themselves. You know, yes, we also pay for these buildings that we own and we don't want graffiti on it. But, you know, I think that the more I see it, the more I notice that they're finding cool ways now. Like, oh, this is an open space. It's okay to do this. But yeah.
Sure. Yeah, and either way, I mean, it's a way to connect and a way to, like you said, express yourself. And even if if it's somebody's building and they don't like it, I mean, I guess
they're going to paint over it.
Yeah, it'll be okay. It's just paint, right? So
and you know, I work with the youth when I'm not doing this. I teach at a conservatory, which I used to attend, and the kids are very, they're going through something right now. You know, they also experienced a huge hit in this world where they started going to school on camera, and there's a lot of depression. There's a lot of things going on in these young people's minds, and they need an outlet, which is why I'm glad the conservatory opened back up and they're able to release this energy and express how they feel through poetry, through dance, through acting. But yeah, it's a sensitive time.
Speaking of the conservatory that you attended, what got you into the performing arts? Was there a particular inspiration when you were young, or?
Oh my goodness. Well, I will say I'm a huge Janet Jackson fan. Hands down. You know, I was influenced by Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Stevie Wonder, Prince. But Janet Jackson played a major part in even me being an artist. So when I was a kid, I would sing around the house. And my mom was like, I'm going to put him into a performing arts school, which was, the first one was by Marla Gibbs. Marla Gibbs put a conservatory together in Leimert Park. And I attended that for a summer. And that's when my mom actually discovered I could sing. She heard the humming around, but I got in trouble in class. And I knew the only way to get out of it was to really sing, because I was very shy. So I did that. And he was like, oh my God, you've been here this whole semester and I didn't know you could really sing. So that was like the launch of it. And then being around the art, when you're a kid, you don't pay attention to the fact that people are watching you. You're very magical. You're very dreamy. There are no limits to what you can do when you're a kid. So that was a beautiful feeling for me. So after that, my mom got me an agent. I started booking TV shows, commercials. And then two of the teachers from Marla Gibbs School opened their own school, which was Wendy Raquel Robinson. She's an actress. And Tracy Coley, who's a vocal coach. They opened their own school called Amazing Grace Conservatory in the heart of Los Angeles on Crenshaw and Adams. That's where it started. And so my mom took me there and she was like, okay, they need to be here. So it just being around other kids who are also magical and being able to create, and they allowed us to, like, we're made up of dance steps. So we want this to be in the show, because when you're a kid, there's no limits. You just say what you want to say. And they're like, oh, okay, let's do it. So I think that's what kept me going and being inspired, because I also had a chance, because they allowed me to choreograph. I started to think of, well, if I was a director, I would do it this way. If I was a
Mm-hmm.
director, I'd do this. And the director at the time, she was like, okay, I'm going to let you choreograph a number in the summer program. What? Okay, cool. So then I choreographed a project in the show. And then as I got older, each summer program, they would have me come in as a TA, and I would choreograph a number at the school. So then, I'm doing that and then going to a performing arts high school with artists like Josh Groban, Christina
Okay.
Milian, Don Gardner, so many people, Alex Isley, she came a little after me, but I was there with Josh Groban, Christina Milian, and all those people. And it was literally fame. The school was literally fame. So you had your music department, your dance department, your visual arts department, your theater department. So you'd walk in the hallway and you see the theater students in all black, and they're saying lines in the hallway, and then you hear vocalists humming, and you see an instrumentalist with the violin warming up. It was
Mm.
an amazing experience. And I remember my mom enrolled me my 10th grade year, and I hated it because they made
Mm.
me take concert choir. And I was like, I'm an R&B artist. I do pop. I don't need to do concert choir or opera. This is crazy. So I went back to a regular high school, and I was like, this is not the place for me.
Mm.
There's no one like me here. There's judgment because I'm a singer. I'm a guy who sings really high. That
Mm.
experience. So then I told my mom, okay, I want to go back. And she said, I'm not, this is it. So luckily
Yeah.
the gospel teacher was still there, and she said, no, he needs to come back. So they brought me in, and I remember going back to opera class and loving it, because
Oh.
now I can understand why it's important and the techniques that it gives to even complement R&B music.
Mm-hmm.
Leading back to why I love Janet Jackson, there's on her Janet album, she has a song called This Time, which is this huge opera piece in the song, and she features this opera artist. And I loved every bit of it. So
Mm.
it allowed me to be exposed to so many things, which is why I love all types of music. I don't want to be put in a box of like, what's your genre? Everything, the world, that's my genre. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like tomorrow I might feel like doing a country song. I've written country songs. I love all music. And all those things have influenced me. Janet Jackson's blueprint of how her messages, when she puts her projects together, each project has a message. When she did the Rhythm Nation album, it was about racism and education and the importance of the things about drugs. And then when she shot that movie, before we had visual albums, before we had that title, Michael and
Mm-hmm.
Janet, they were doing that. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And so she did the Rhythm Nation album. She said, I wanted to film it in black and white because I wanted everyone to see that we're just all different shades.
Mm.
And I was like, wow, wow. Like she's speaking to us. She has something to say. And I think that is very important as an artist to have something to say. I mean, we can just sing songs, but I
Right.
think that's how people connect with you. So she's definitely played a major part, from the type of music I record, the way my shows are set up. Her blueprint is just freaking amazing. I think a lot of artists need to give Janet Jackson, not just artists, but the world need to give her more credit.
Mm-hmm.
Not many artists can go back to number one on the Billboard charts 20, 30 years later. That's
Right.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yes, it
So,
is.
yeah, I could go on and on about Janet Jackson. So, but yeah, she's a major influence on me as an
Mhm.
artist, as a dreamer, and anything's possible. I can relate to her too, as far as being in the industry. Growing up, I had issues with my weight, and record
Mm.
labels would say, "Oh, you can sing, but you need to lose weight." Now I'm
Really?
14,
Mm.
15 years old. And
Oh,
that can
wow.
affect a young man's self-esteem,
Yeah.
or, you don't necessarily have the look. Well, what is the look? You
Mm.
know, what is the look that you're saying? I remember, I won't say the person's name, very famous guy. I have a gap in my teeth, and he wanted to
Mm.
close the gap, wanted to change my hair. He wanted to do this whole new thing. And it made me feel like this gap was not beautiful.
Mm.
It made me start to question, should I close my gap? Should I get braces? And then to
Right.
hear other people go, no, it's beautiful. I love that about you. And I'm like, no, I want a record deal.
Mm.
I'm a young man, and I'm being told these things that I'm not enough.
Mm.
And that is not a great feeling to experience. And then to be told you need to lose weight. My response was, well, give me a trainer. Sign me, give me a trainer. Well, no, we can't do that. It doesn't make sense. If you say I'm a great singer, then why won't you fund the trainer? You're funding the producer to do this 2 demo deal to see if this is something you want to do. I don't understand.
If that's something that's so important.
It's been a journey.
Right?
Yeah, it's been a journey.
Yeah, and that was while you were still in the performing arts college that they.
Yes.
Wow. So young.
So young, and looking in the mirror, taking in all these things, and not thinking I'm not the hot guy. Even like when I would go on auditions for TV shows, they would send me like, "Oh, he's the hot kid at school." I didn't believe that. I'm the best friend. I'm the guy next door. That's me, because the world television, they created an image of what that hot guy looked like. I remember texturizing my hair, relaxing my hair, because I didn't want to have my natural hair out. So, of course, I'm way past that now. I have locks. But yeah, just the journey of the ups and downs of learning about yourself, learning when to say no, also having a strong mother to stand up for you and wouldn't allow these things to happen. She would travel with me. I had a few record deals. They're like, "We want to send for your son." She says, "We'll send 2 tickets because he's not going alone." Oh, well, we're going to do this. Well, I hope you book 2.
Yeah.
That's the only way it works. And, I'm actually grateful that I kept getting close to these major record deals, but then not actually happening because of them always wanting to change me. Right. By it not happening and me traveling the world, doing all these different projects, living in Japan for 4 years, I got to learn a lot about me and be okay with me and do it my own way. Like Janet said, it's all about control, and I got lots of it. So cheesy, I know, but it is what it is.
Fitting, yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that's interesting to hear, because you hear so much about women and young girls and people that want to get into the business or any kind of entertainment business being kind of shaped and molded, and you don't hear the stories as much from men. At least I haven't. Maybe.
Yeah. No, it's not really talked about. I can tell you, when the solo thing didn't work out, I joined a group called Formula One, and at this point, I lost some weight. And my other group members were still smaller than me, and it became, you should still keep working out. You know what I mean? Or I had like acne problems at the time, so I would have to sit in the chair longer for makeup. They were fine, Then that also plays a mental thing on yourself, because I'm like, damn, I'm the one who needs the most work. Because of everything that's happened before. Or I don't get the coolest outfit because I'm still, even though I lost weight, I'm still the thick guy in the group, and I'm not even big at this point. But now it's my own body dysmorphia. It's that whole thing that has now set in. So yeah, it happens to a lot of male artists. You want the 6-pack, you want all those things because they tell you this is what sells records. But thank God the industry has changed a lot. We're starting to just see eclectic, cool artists being their true selves, embracing who they are. And there's a fan base for everybody. There is a fan base for everybody. So that's the beautiful thing.
Yeah, that is one. I've noticed that's one massively positive thing from things being so easily attainable and like being able to do things independently and all that. So that's very positive, and so I'm glad that that's available for you to be able to use and find your niche and everything. And it's crazy how that whole world was and is. But
yes, because we still have a long way to go. Still have a long way to go, but it's cool to see these indie artists actually blowing up, touring, and doing it their way. And to see people like Chance the Rapper, who's independent artist, boom, and the labels coming after him. He's like, nope. Yeah. I'm good, So it is harder for us indie artists because we're funding everything. But once we find that breakthrough, or a major artist just happens to stumble on your project and be like, I like this, and says something about you, it opens up a whole nother door. And for me, I'll never give up on my dreams.
Yeah.
And I feel like, someone asked me, do you feel like if it all ended tomorrow, you'd be disappointed? And I said no, because I've done a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually done a lot. And I've accomplished so much, and it's been a beautiful experience. It may not be mainstream, but I've had the opportunity to see the world, perform in huge venues. I did backup singing for Jason Derulo at the O2 Arena in London. Like, wow, I can say I did that. Flew in, did the show in one night, and then flew home.
Wow.
Crazy,
Yeah.
So it's been experience. The group I was in, we toured with Sierra when she first came out with Goodies. Russ Parr radio station, we were with him, the morning show. All the things that have happened, I wouldn't change any of it, because it has been a great experience, and it's made me a stronger person. It's just been a beautiful experience. Yeah.
You mentioned living in Japan for 4 years. Was that straight out of high school, or was that a bit later? How did that come about?
After high school, had a record deal, production deal, all the deals worked. They didn't work out. Got in the group. We had a record deal. We traveled, and then after that, I decided to get a real job, but it was still in the arts. I worked at Salvation Army Youth Center teaching dance to the youth there. Okay. And I had a friend who I went to high school with. She went to Japan and worked at Universal Studios Japan. And she was like, you need to come here. It's an outlet. You'll build a huge fan base. And Universal Studios is not like America, where you think it's just an amusement park. These people are nuts about us as performers over here. So you need to come over here. And I was like, no, I don't want to perform in an amusement park. I'm a recording artist. I don't want to do that. So she stayed an extra year, and then I was starting to feel nothing's happening. I need a change. And I auditioned, and they called me. And I had moved into my apartment with my best friend. We moved out of our parents' house. He's an actor. He's doing a new TV show. And then I get this phone call, and they're like, we want to cast you in our show. So I flew over there, and it was a Glee show. I had to learn the script in Japanese.
Oh, wow.
And so all the dialogue was in Japanese, and the songs were American songs. And it was the best experience ever. I got to work with artists from all over the world. We had people from Scotland. We had people from Australia. We had people from everywhere. And we all lived in this huge apartment building. All the performers lived in the same apartment building. So you're just surrounded by this great energy and new friends. So I did a year. And my friend who did it for 2 years, she said, don't renew your contract for a second year. Go do something else. Then if they call you, go back. She said, because you don't want to be jaded. It's a 13-month contract. So I was like, okay. So I went home, booked another gig, which was a Michael Jackson show that was in Reno in Lebanon. And then they called me, can you come back? Sure. So I flew back, did another contract, and that contract ended. And I went home. They said, can you come back again? Absolutely. So at this point, Japan is home. At this point, I know my way around. I lived in Osaka. I love the culture. Just seeing the beauty in everything there. Oh, the subways are so clean. I was shocked by that. Couldn't believe how clean it is. It's so clean there. The discipline. They respect their land. The food is amazing. McDonald's is amazing. I know that's crazy, but McDonald's in Japan is amazing.
Oh, wow.
So I did the third contract, and then I decided to stay on for a whole nother year. So that's why I was there for 4 years. In the last contract, a friend of mine, we did a huge concert out there, sold out. And it was an unbelievable experience. And I learned, it allowed me to just see myself, spend time with myself. What kind of music do I want to do? What do I want to talk about? Meeting other songwriters and them pushing me. Oh, that's not personal enough. You've got to actually open up the door so people can get to know you lyrically. It can't be surface. So it was all those things happened in Japan. And then after that, I came home. And during the process of going to Japan, I kept auditioning for Book of Mormon. And they would always call me, but I'd be like, oh, I can't. I'm in Japan. So I finally got another call, and they said, can you come in and do the dance call? I just happened to be in New York doing another show. So I did the dance call. A month later, they're like, congratulations, you booked Book of Mormon. And I'm like, yes, Broadway. They're like, well, we're going to actually have you go to Australia. And I was like,
wow.
I was like, okay, never been there. Why not?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
stayed in Australia for 7 months doing that show, and that was another experience. So it's been a great ride so far.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. There's something about getting out of your routines and environment that you're used to that really allows you to do that self work.
Break free.
Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah.
You start to see. Well, I remember being in Japan and just like no one cares. Like live your life. No one cares.
Yeah.
I think because I grew up in the industry and it's like you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, don't talk about this. And then to go outside of the US and then everybody's like, you guys, you need to relax. You Americans need to relax. And I'm like, wow. Like, it's not that serious. I was like, you guys are okay. But I got to find me and love me and to be around other artists to inspire you and tell you you're good enough and give you your flowers. Like, oh, I love when you do this. Can you do that again? And these are people who are from all over the world. And then you build these relationships where what I've learned in working in these different with these different companies, if you do your job and you do it gracefully, stand your ground when you need to, but still be respectful when you do it, people are always watching you. But if they love what they see, you will always work because it's word of mouth. Oh, you guys need to hire Alfred Jackson. Always on time. He does this. He does that. He knows his stuff. Hire him. And that's something I learned. Because there are a few things like, in America, when we're late to work, you have the 5-minute grace period time. That doesn't work in Japan. If your call time is 7 a.m. and you get there at 7:01, you're late. Period. And I remember being like, no, I'm on time. I'm here. Now, my reason, I was on time, but I wasn't in costume. No, I was on time. I was in costume, but I forgot to sign in.
Oh.
It just slipped my mind. I went straight to the dressing room, ready to go out on stage. I'm like, hey, you didn't sign in. I was like, yeah, but I've been here, but you didn't sign in. Yeah, but I've been here this whole time. I'm in costume. You're late. You didn't sign in. The rules are you sign in. So it's like those adjustments, they don't budge on those type of things. If the sky is green and the book says the sky is green, in Japan they're like, the sky is green. Those are the rules. So it definitely was, discipline. It helped me a lot. And I would love to buy property out there and eventually live there for a while. It's beautiful.
Oh, wow. Where you were in Osaka, I've never been. So is it more?
You have to go. You have to go.
It sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Was it more like city, or was there, if you were to buy a house, what would be your surroundings?
So I always tell people Tokyo's like New York.
Okay.
And Osaka is like a California, more chill.
Oh, okay.
And they have this cool place called Shinsaibashi, which is where all the shopping centers are. It's very relaxed, but it still has these like cool like perks about it, which gives you like the LA vibe. Because LA is so spread out. Sure. You can go to Venice Beach, you can go to Hollywood, you can go to all these different places. And then they have Kyoto, which is also beautiful with the temples. And I have my play mom in Japan. She lives in Kyoto, and her home is beautiful. I would love to live in like Kyoto, someplace like that. Yeah.
Wow. That sounds beautiful. Yeah, I will definitely have to visit.
You have to. I think that everyone should visit Japan. I call it La La Land because there's no stress. No stress. Wow. I remember, like I said, I had the whole acne issue, and when I got there, my skin just cleared up. It was the most interesting thing. Yeah, you forget about what's going on in the world, actually, like because it's so calm. There are no dogs barking. Like when you see people with their dogs, the dogs are in baskets on their little bikes, just like la la la. Because in the city you hear the barking, you hear, the birds, and it's so quiet, so smooth. There's no no chaos. I mean, there's no perfect place in the world. Of course, Japan has its flaws, but my experience, it just was mind blowing. I think what really blew my mind was when I went on the subway and saw how clean it was. I was like, oh, this is possible. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
Wow, this is possible.
How
And then,
how do we
think about New
replicate
York.
this? Yeah.
Yeah, like what are we doing? What are we doing wrong? How can we fix this?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. So you came back afterwards. Oh yeah, you told me already. I was going to ask what you did after Japan, but you went to Australia. And
Yeah.
then, so what's your day? I'm curious because I'm a musician as well, and I went to
Awesome.
school for it, but like in a different way. I went to
Mhm.
college in Boston at Berkeley, and
Oh, I have
and
lots of friends that went there.
I bet, yeah, so
Do
many.
you know Bridget? Bridget, well, she goes by Bridget Sarai now.
I
James
went.
Connor?
No,
No.
how soon were they there, or when were they there?
Uh, I think she graduated maybe 2008.
Oh, that's when I started. So
Okay.
maybe that's why.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was my freshman-ish year.
I
So
actually told my friend because for me, after high school, I wasn't really, I was like, college, I want to be a recording artist. That's my thing.
yeah,
But I wanted to
yeah.
try for my mother. So I applied to Cal Arts. And I applied to a community college. But every time I applied to one, something went wrong, or I didn't get accepted, or the
Okay.
school was closed. But I remember when my friend Bridget, went to Berkeley, I said, I'm so upset with you because you didn't tell me about this school. She was like, you didn't know about Berkeley? I said, no, because I would have
I didn't
applied.
either. Yeah.
I was
That's
so upset.
hilarious. Yeah. Oh, I didn't either until I think I was searching. I had a similar thing where I was like, I want to just do my thing, do music, and I don't want to go to college because to me, music in college was like the music
Yeah,
department, you become a teacher. And I didn't want to do that.
right, right.
Um, and then I found out about Berkeley. It was the only spot that I applied for, and I'm still kind of sometimes surprised I got I got in because I didn't go to a performing arts high school. I didn't do
Hmm.
all these things, but
What
um,
instrument do you play?
my principal was voice, and then I took a lot of guitar classes and some
Nice.
piano while I was there. So, but yeah, singer
So,
songwriter route,
okay.
folky acoustic stuff.
Oh, so
So
we might have to do some stuff.
I know, right?
Yeah, the collab.
It would be
Okay.
fun.
Yeah.
So, but I'm curious what because you're so busy and you're doing so much in your work, and you do dance and you act and everything. What is a typical day like for you to prepare for certain things, or just in general?
Okay. So I am an overachiever. I also don't like to stress, so I over prepare so I don't have to stress. Maybe the stress is in the over prepare.
Sure.
So right now, for example, I am now directing Lion King for the conservatory
Oh,
that I
great!
attended.
Wow. Yeah.
So, like I said, just got off a cruise ship and now I'm here. So I wake up in the morning, I do my notes, I do the blocking, whatever. I send out emails to the teachers who are doing music, choreography, my vision, what I want, and then I find time to eat. Then I try
Important.
to squeeze in a workout, and then I hit the road to be there early. So when the students get there, we can attack and do the blocking and whatnot. And so we do that for 2.5 hours. And then I hop back on the freeway. I drive home and I collapse on the couch. And then I think about my artist stuff. What do I need to do tomorrow to push the new single, to prepare people for the album? And I'll brainstorm or I'll hit up the team and we talk about those things. And I go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
When I am on the cruise ship, I pretty much wake up, I work out, do artist stuff, send the emails out. We do a rehearsal because I love rehearsals. I feel that you can never rehearse enough. And then if it's a show day, we'll do the show. And if it's not, we'll go eat and then we'll go see a show. And that's kind of like my chill though, because if it's not a show day, we get the perks of being guests because we're guests. We're guest entertainers. So we can
Mm-hmm.
go to restaurants. We can get off the ship now. We can do all those things. Oh, we have a show on Thursday. Okay, maybe I won't go out the night before because I need to be able to sing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my day to day.
That sounds great. And then so you have about a month home, and
Yes,
then are you back on a cruise ship after that, or
yes.
what's
So we
yeah.
are doing a crossover to Amsterdam. So we leave from Florida
Oh,
and
okay. Wow.
do a cruise, 12-day cruise to Amsterdam, and then we stay over there for the month
Wow.
doing all that. So while I'm there, I will be directing on Zoom
Oh, yeah. Wow.
The show doesn't go up till May 21st, May 22nd. So
Okay.
thanks to technology, I'm able
Yeah.
to still do what I need to do. But like I said, I'm an overachiever. So right now, everything will be blocked within April.
Mm.
So while I'm away, the school can still function and run the production, and then I can just call in, let me see it, let's fix this, let's make adjustments, and then we'll get to the theater, make sure that the notes that I have are happening, and move forward. On top of all of that, just getting ready for the release of the album. I have I left that out. So
Yeah.
I'm doing a visual album with the album. So I get emails from the editor, hey, we need to get online and talk about these edits. So that happens maybe once a week.
Oh,
Doing
wow.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. I
Yeah.
need vacation.
Yes. Oh, that sounds amazing, though. It sounds like amazing days to just be filled with
Yeah.
creating
Yeah.
and doing some of the business part. And
I think the most fun for me outside of that is when I can have downtime with my friends and it can just
hmm
be us sitting in the living room, hearing about what they're doing,
hmm
and just laughing.
yeah. Yeah. So when do you have everything filmed already for that visual album, or are you still
Yes.
doing filming for that?
So we
Yeah.
shot everything early last year. So in 2020, the end of 2020, I did all my meetings and we started rehearsals. So I had all my dancers come in, learned all the choreography. Then we shot early 2021. And then over the summer, we started the editing process. Again, I'm an indie artist, so I don't have high rank with when my editing gets to happen, so she's like, let me finish this and then I'll get to this, But her name is Teresa, and she's been an amazing, amazing, amazing DP, and she always brings my vision to life. And so we've been in the process of editing everything. And then September of last year, I released the first single from the project.
Okay.
And I did another one November? No, I can't even remember. I think it was November. And then we just dropped the recent one. So it's been like I'm just sprinkling little droppings from the album to get people ready for what's to come. And they're getting sneak peeks of visuals. So it's more like a teaser. And then you'll get the full thing, the visual album.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like a fun project. That sounds great.
It's
I'm
been
looking forward
amazing.
to it.
It's been amazing. The fun
Yeah.
part for me is the rehearsals and the shooting. I'm like, oh, this is great. The editing
Yeah.
can be a bit much. I'm like, I don't like this. Well, why don't you like it? I don't like the way I look in this shot. I want you to fix this, or can we find another shot, or how do we make this unique that it's not just so simple? What are these
Mm,
other things we can do to give this video more life? But all of it's been fun.
that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a release date for
Yes.
everything to come out?
June 17th, album
Okay.
and visual album will come out.
Ooh, nice. Coming
Yeah.
up. Nice.
It's coming up. I'm
It's
excited.
exciting.
I'm really
Yeah.
excited. I can't wait to perform all the music. I love
Yeah.
putting on concerts. The last concert we did was in 2017 at the Avalon, which is in Hollywood. It's a huge venue. And it was for my last project, which was called Complicated. And it was a night to remember. Packed house, live band, six dancers. My
Mm.
sister performed before me. She did her
Oh,
set.
nice. hmm
And whenever we do concerts, me and my sister, we headline together.
That's awesome. I bet
Yeah.
that's unique and special.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm thinking about right now, I would love to do more intimate shows just to
Sure.
engage with people. This album is very, very dear to me. It's about self love, self worth, legacy, the importance of building a legacy, just making sure people choose them over anything else. That's what this album is about. Because, I think that we experience relationships and sometimes we allow things to happen. We don't choose ourselves. We like, oh, it's okay. I'm hoping that this is something that will change.
Right.
And I really
Right.
wanted to talk about that in this project. It's very important. There's this thing called If, and it basically says, if you don't love me for who I am, I don't want any parts of you. If you're not ready to go
Mm.
all in, guess what? I wish the best for you. You know,
Mm.
those type of things
Yeah.
to kind of those songs that go, yeah, that's how I feel. And then there's also the heartbreak songs where the new single is called Do You Think About Me? And when we break up with someone, and it may not even be, we didn't even make it to the relationship part, but we've been dating and it doesn't work out. but they still hold a place in your heart. And you're kind of like, wow, I wonder if you think about me as much as I'm thinking about you right now.
Yeah.
And this kind of hurts. But then you have to ask yourself, why do you still care if they're thinking about you? Because it didn't work out for a reason, whatever that is.
Right.
And you have to evaluate that for yourself and internalize and go, okay, this didn't work out because they didn't see me for who I am, or they didn't give me the time that I deserved, or I just was being mistreated the whole time and I allowed it to happen. And now that it's over, how do I move forward? But why am I caring about someone that mistreated me? Why are they holding a space in my mind, in my heart, when I know I deserve better? So yeah, it's an album of 14 songs. And everybody's like, why 14 songs? No one does that anymore. It's like, because I feel growing up, a body of work is more important. Like you give them 7 songs and they're just like, oh, okay, that was great. I loved it. Now I want more. But I'm going to give you a body of work, 14 songs on top of the past project. So now you have even more of a catalog to listen to. And this particular album is 2 parts. So one side is more R&B pop and the other side is going to be full pop. I haven't finished the pop side yet, so maybe you and I can come up with something.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there, and I'm just putting it out there.
Sounds good to me.
But yeah, that's pretty much what this album is about. Self-love, self-worth.
Yeah.
It's called, when you read it, it says UGLY, but it's Your Greatest Legacy is You.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like
I wanted to take the word ugly and give it something else. Because I was like, when I was thinking the concepts, I was like, what's something, I prayed about it, and what came to me, what's a word that sticks out to you? I was like, ugly. So, but I don't want to name the album Ugly. Oh, everybody called me ugly. Da, 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 da. And I have a friend who's a poet, and his name is Gerald. I said, hey, I want each letter to have a meaning. I don't know. Can you just send me some stuff, like acronyms, just send me something. And he gave me a list of 20 different things. And as I was reading, it said, your greatest legacy is you. And it spoke to me because we determine what this life will be. Nobody else. Our parents raised us, but we determine how we operate in this world, what mark we're going to leave in this world. And for me, my music is one of the marks that I will leave. Whether it goes to Billboard or not, somebody's going to hear my stuff.
Yeah.
So, and on top of that, it's very important. We're not taught. Well, I wasn't taught the importance of generational wealth. I was just told, you got to survive, pay your bills, have your credit. But the importance of leaving a legacy so your children's children's children have something. Buying property, the importance of buying property, the importance of, trademarking your name. Legacy is in your name. You know what I'm saying? My legacy is in my hair. It goes so deep. Even when I read it, I didn't realize how deep it was going to go. So yeah, that's the name of the project, Your Greatest Legacy is You. And I just want to inspire people to really focus on themselves, because in order to love someone else, you have to love yourself first fully, because otherwise the insecurities are stronger.
Absolutely.
I've experienced it, even when I think I'm okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it can creep in when you're least expecting it. Yeah. Yeah, and that definitely connects with what you were talking about earlier in the conversation, as far as what you went through growing up and the things you were told when you're in high school trying to get a deal and all these things. Yeah, so that sounds like a very impactful, powerful message. Speaking of messages through albums like Janet Jackson.
Yes, come on. I love how you brought that back. Yeah. Yeah, like even the previous projects, my first project that I ever released was called First Draft, which was before we had the huge platforms we have now. I think I released it in 2014. But for me, that was like, this is my first draft of ever putting something out officially. But the great thing about a first draft is you can always rewrite it.
Yeah.
And make it better. So then came the second project, which was Complicated. And it was, for me, why do we make life so complicated? Why do we do that? From dating to politics to things actually are very simple, but we allow life to be so complicated. You hear people, oh, I thought you guys broke up. Oh, well, it's complicated. No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. You just don't want to let go, or sex was good, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's not complicated. You just can't let go. Let's move forward. And now here we are with Your Greatest Legacy is You. a whole nother chapter. So
yeah. That's such a powerful message. And I'm sure for the kids that you're working with too, like that's going to be an inspiration for
we
them
actually
too.
there's a song on the album called Ugly, and I talk about my experience with the word and also my experience with the industry being ugly. Mm-hmm. And I featured one of my students who's now in college. He's an amazing dancer, but I wanted him to talk about his experience with the word ugly and sexuality and all of that. And then I had another friend who talked about her experience with the word ugly as a Black woman. Mm-hmm. Another lady, so all different ages. A friend of mine, the poet, he's in it as well, and he talks about his experience as being a light-skinned Black man and what that is, because we all are going through things. We all are experiencing things, mm-hmm. and it's cool to talk about those things. I say a line in the song where there was one point in my life where I wish my skin was a lighter shade of brown. Mm. The impact that I experienced as a young man made me think that. Mm. You know, it's many layers to the project. There's some love songs, yes. Of course.
Gotta have
them. So, yeah, it's just a good time. Yeah. It's a great project. I'm very proud of it. I can't wait for it to come out. I really hope that a lot of people get a chance to search me and find it and enjoy it. You know?
Yeah. Look forward to hearing it. And
yes, I would love to. Yes. We'll have to invite you down to the release party.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hop on that plane.
Come on. I mean, you're right up there. You can come right on down.
It's not far.
It's not far at all. So, yeah.
Let's see. So what is something that you wish you'd been taught earlier in life? This is one of our questions.
Yes. And it's funny. I briefly touched on it. The importance of building a legacy.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
The importance of setting a foundation. You know, as a young man in my 20s, I had record deal contracts. I had money, but no one said, you need to take this money and invest it in this, do this. Oh, maybe you should buy some stock. I will say, when I got my first record contract, only thing I bought was a TV. My group members bought cars. I just bought a TV. I just want a TV with a VCR and a DVD player. Wow. But I wish that there was someone there to go, let's take this money and set your future. I also wish that in high school, I know that they're starting to talk about these things now, but I wish that I had someone to go, it's very important to know these things because you could be a millionaire before you're 30. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'm starting late, but I wish I had that knowledge. And I think that the youth, the young people should be educated on that, building your legacy, and what that means and how important it is, because it's not just you, it's your family. Some people are born into it, but if you're not, you have to set the standard.
Yeah, you have to do all that work on your own or figure it out later.
Yeah.
I completely agree. So it's as important, if not even more important in a way than history or math or anything else you're learning in high school, to learn about how to do these things and how to build your foundation of wealth or credit or whatever it is.
The corporations, the LLCs, all of that. Because it's kind of like, huh? What's this? What?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And even like, you know, being a first-time homeowner and that process. Because you think you know, but then you're like, wait, there's a closing cost?
Right. I know.
You know, there's all these things you're learning. And then you're like, no one tells you about HOA, how annoying HOA can be. It's better to probably just get your own property and just pay the extra bills to take care of your lawn, because you don't want to have to answer to someone else about your own property.
Right. Yes.
Just schooling on how to operate in this world so they're not surprises. I think that that's very important, especially my community, to be educated on those things, because it's bigger than just paying bills and surviving.
Right.
It's enjoying life. How do we enjoy life? We shouldn't have to struggle. A lot of people are leaving California because it's hard to live in California. You have to have 3 jobs to pay your bill. When do you get a chance to enjoy your life? Mm-hmm. Well, best thing for me to do is move to Atlanta, move to Texas, move to where I can get a big house, a backyard. And so, but I think that is I wish someone was there to educate me on the importance of building my legacy and the importance of all those things, you know. And then other than that, just someone saying, you are enough.
Yes.
You are enough. You can make it in this world. Continue to dream and, you know, stand your ground. There's nothing wrong with standing your ground. I think sometimes people get scared. They don't want to be read the wrong way. Oh, you're hard to work with. But I also believe there's a way to go about it. But also sometimes you still have to stand your ground. If they think you're hard to work with, that's fine too.
Yeah, having those boundaries and having the lines.
For the longest time, I remember being in a group, I would not say any curse words. I was like, I don't cuss. I'm not going to record this for the longest time. And then, you know, one day I started cursing. But it's not like a regular thing. Yeah, you know, but I was like, okay, now I'm okay. But I wasn't okay with it then. That's just not where I was. So I said no. They're like, you know, that's cheesy. That's fine. I'll be cheesy. Cheesy is who I am. Great. Cool.
That was your line. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah. It's okay to stand your ground. It's okay to be you.
Thanks for sharing that. So you mentioned that Janet Jackson was a big influence. Would you say that she's the main one, or who or what was it a big influence for you?
Outside of Janet Jackson, my Uncle Ricky. My Uncle Ricky is a gospel recording artist. And growing up, I watched him pursue his dream. And, you know, over time, he didn't have a family yet. He was married, but he didn't have his family yet. Then he had children. But even through the process of having kids, he never gave up. His faith is and was so strong. And I got to witness it. And now here we are, 20-some years later, he's never given up. He's now on the Billboard chart, you know? And he always calls me and goes, nephew, don't give up. Keep going. Try this. Do this. But he was definitely an influence on me because he was the first person to ever record me in the studio.
Oh, yeah.
He was the first. I remember my first time writing in a session, I panicked and I called him and he prayed with me and he said, okay, when you think of this song, what does it make you feel? This song is about your mom, right? I was like, yes. So he said, how does your mom make you feel? What is she? I was like, she's sweet. She's kind. He said, okay, write that down. And he helped build and form me as an artist, but also he just helped me see how important it is to have faith and to never give up. And to see his dreams come true gives me hope. So he's definitely one. And of course, my mother, she has always been a go-getter. And she was a single mother raising two kids, and she sacrificed a lot. And I just want to tell all single moms out there that, you know, sometimes you think you need your partner. If you don't have your partner, my mom is a true witness that you can make things happen. She saw the dreams her kids had, and she found a way to make it happen. She couldn't afford the tuition. Guess what she became? The lunch lady at the school. I will make the food for all the kids at the conservatory so that my children can attend it. So she sacrificed a lot, and now she has her own business, and it's doing great. It's booming, and just to see her continue to be a fighter, and she has so many gifts. She's a makeup artist. She does websites. She does all these different things on top of still being a part of my sister and I's career. You know, she manages us, and because we trust her, and she makes things happen. But she's truly a major influence on me because I see the possibilities that I can achieve, just like she did. You know, and it's hard. You know, it's hard to be a single mom and have two kids and to balance that, the dreams of your children, to fly across the world to get to meet with these record execs with your son and then come home to your daughter. She's not sure she wants to sing yet, but then now she wants to sing. So now you put her in a group. So now you're balancing these two artists, and she is the VP or MVP, you know what I'm saying? So she's definitely another major influence. So my uncle, my mom, Janet Jackson, there's so many people that have inspired me. Wendy Raquel Robinson, just the fact that she created this school for kids like me in Los Angeles, in the inner city, where we have a place to go. We can't go all the way out to Hollywood, and it's right here in the heart of LA. And to see this school, we'll have our 25th anniversary this year.
Oh,
School's been in
wow.
there for 25 years. And after Tracy Coley passed away, she had to decide if she was going to close the school or run it on her own. And she decided to keep running it on top of being an actress on television, you know?
Mm.
So
Wow.
the village is strong. Her
Hmm.
village is very strong. And to see her keep going and to see her allowing this outlet for young children is an amazing experience. And I can't wait to have an opportunity to provide those types of things too.
Some wonderful people, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I may have asked your sister this as well. I can't remember. What's your mom's business that she has now?
So she is, make sure I say this right.
Sounds
She's
like many.
basically egg donation and surrogacy. So people who are
Oh,
not
okay.
able to have children or want egg donors, her company provides that for them.
That's
I
right.
think her company's been running for over 10, 15 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I recall that now that you say that I think I did
Yeah.
ask your sister as well. Yeah, that's remarkable. That's really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she really, really tapped into it. She started off working for another company and then she really enjoyed it and formed her own. And now
Yeah.
she is helping many families
That's
create families.
incredible. Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then on top of helping both of you with your careers and everything too.
Yeah.
Busy,
And then,
busy
so, yeah,
woman.
on top of that. So, for example, my sister and I, we shot a movie last year. It's the Mahalia
Mm,
Jackson film that's coming. It's called Remember Me. My
okay.
sister plays young Mahalia Jackson, and I play Leroy Green. I am a club host. I introduced Cap Calloway and Duke Ellington, and Mahalia
Mm.
Jackson happens to be at the show, and Corbin Bleu is in it. And so Corbin Bleu and I also went to the same high school, so we had that whole
Oh, wow.
bond on set.
Oh.
So we're really excited about that. So look out for
Mhm.
that. But my mom, basically, while I was saying it full circle, my mom did hair and makeup for the film.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Man, that's
yeah,
awesome. Wow, so many skills, so many
yeah.
talents.
Multi-talented.
It's
She's
wonderful.
rubbing off on us. We're discovering more talent every day. As an
Mm,
indie artist, like I started figuring out how to do my own covers, like design my album covers and stuff like that.
yeah.
You just never know what you're capable of doing until you try it.
Hmm. Yeah,
So,
absolutely. I have a question that you mentioned when you were speaking about your legacy project, the
hmm
album, your hair. And my husband is a Black man who has dreads and has had dreads since he was in high school. Had to cut them at one point.
hmm
And I met him when they were like pretty short, and now they're almost down,
hmm
down, pretty far. So he speaks of it in a certain way, his hair in a certain way. And so I was curious what your connection is with that, or what your thoughts are, if you're
um,
open to sharing that.
yeah. Well, so growing up, I remember nappy hair being considered bad hair.
Mm,
That's what I would hear. Oh, you got nappy hair. Yeah, it's nappy. So to get away from having nappy hair because of what I thought, I would ask my mom to give me an X curl, texturizer. I never really, in my teenage young years, I never really embraced my natural hair because of what I was taught or what I saw on television. I didn't think I was handsome with my natural hair. As I got older, I remember my sister. I washed out the texturizer, and my hair does what it naturally does. That it curls up. And my sister said, "You need to keep your hair like that. You look really nice." I was like, "Ew, no, I'm not doing that. No, I'm gonna text it." Da, da, da. She was like, "No, you really need to keep your hair like that." Then another friend saw me, and she said, "Alfred, I really love your hair like that." And I was like, "Are y'all seeing the same thing I'm seeing?" Like, you
mm,
know. And eventually, I ended up cutting my hair off, doing waves for a minute, and then I got older, and I was in Japan, and a good friend of mine, Raymond, he was like, "You need to leave your hair natural. Also, get those chemicals out of your hair. Just do your natural thing." And then they created the sponge where it helped
oh,
turn.
sure.
So I started rocking that, and then I started to go, "Wow, this is me. This is my natural hair. This is beautiful." And all these years, I've been brainwashed of my own culture, my own, and
Hmm.
here I am now in my 20s, 30s, finally embracing my legacy, and it's beautiful. And then I remember seeing friends starting their locks, and I was like, I want to do that one day. I want to do that one day. I was like, oh, okay. So maybe 2 years ago, I started, and here we are. And everything about my hair is beautiful. Oh, one more story. I remember when I started, I was getting cornrows, and I remember telling the girl doing my hair, I said, I'm sorry, my hair is really nappy. She said, you have good hair. What are you talking about? Your hair is healthy. Your hair is rich. And it just slapped me. And I was like, it is.
Yeah.
Why are you apologizing? And we don't say dreadlocks. We just say locks, because you've heard the story. Dreadlocks was something they called back then, dreadful.
Oh.
Dreadful hair.
I don't think I have heard that.
Yeah, so we say locks.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't say dreadlocks. Yeah.
That's interesting. Did I say dreadlocks?
You said dreads, but you didn't.
Oh.
Yeah, so we say locks.
Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't think I have heard that. That's interesting, because my husband and I talk about all this stuff all the time, and maybe we haven't touched on that. That makes a lot of sense. So locks.
Yeah.
Nice. Thanks for pointing that out.
No problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was my journey. I mean, growing up, 80s, 90s, being brainwashed with what beauty is.
Yeah.
And to see us come full circle mid 2000s, seeing beautiful women, Black women, just rocking their natural hair. And now it's a high fashion thing, but back then everybody was pressing their hair and trying to live this way and operate this way so they could get the job. Even with braids, it was like, you can't get your job wearing braids, but we're past that now.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, it was definitely a journey. I was brainwashed, and I finally see me, and I'm happy with me, and I love my hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see my sister, she's low. She cut all hers off, and she's so beautiful. Her beautiful face. So yeah. I had someone on a cruise ship say to me, she was complimenting each guy in the group. She's like, "Oh, I just love you guys. Look, your hair, da da da, and you. I just love the noodles."
Oh no!
What?
Wow. I imagine on a cruise ship you might run into that kind of thing a lot.
I can tell you a story.
Oh no! I can only imagine.
They say some very interesting things. It's also sometimes mostly an older group of people. So some of the things they say, and I have to go, yeah, you can't say that.
Right. Oh no!
You don't say that to me.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Because after she said noodles, and I said there a lot, she said, well, I get so confused. What are cornrows? What are this? What is that? And I was like, look it up.
Yeah. That thing in your pocket? Just pull it out.
Since you're confused, so you don't call my hair noodles again, I think you should look it up.
Oh, man. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Not surprising, but also wow.
Wow.
Oh, goodness. Well, thanks for sharing your experience with hair with me. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Yeah, we carry a lot in our hair. How people say when they start over, they shave their locks off. But yeah, your hair tells a story too.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't in other cultures or from other backgrounds don't even consider it, don't even think about it, but it really does. And it's a whole, if I do one different, for me, if I do one different thing with my hair, I look in the mirror, I'm like, well, that feels a lot different. Or if I don't do my hair in a certain way, or if it's a mess, you're like,
right. Isn't it weird how your hair sets a mood for you? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
you're like, ooh.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Or you're like, ooh, not today.
Yes.
Give me a hat.
Exactly. So yeah, I think it's important to acknowledge that and consider that recognizing that whatever someone chooses to do with their hair and express with their hair it should be accepted and
everything. Yeah.
Okay.
It's your choice as a human being, how you want to operate, how you want to live and be seen. It should be your choice. Artistically, just in general, I mean, it's your body. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you express how you feel through what you wear, through your hair, all of that.
Mm-hmm. Well, is there anything else that you would like to mention, highlight that we missed, or anything?
My album, again, June 17th, Your Greatest Legacy is You. I have a few singles out. The most recent one is called Do You Think About Me? The one before that was Come Over. The one before that was called If. We're dropping another one for the summer party vibe.
Nice.
It'll come out probably in May, called Never Felt This Way. And to look out for the visual album. And also it's very important that we support indie artists and really go and do some research on us. And if you like what you hear, share it, because you are our platform. We don't have the media platforms like major artists with major labels. So our listeners, you are our platform. It is up to you to educate other people on the cool music you're listening to, so that we can be seen and then have maybe not even major networks, but cool sponsors, the cool endorsements to help us keep pushing to the platform we really want to achieve. And the most important thing, love yourself. You are important. And I believe that God is love and God loves everyone. Period. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thanks for connecting with me today, Alfred. I appreciate you being
Thanks for having me.
Podcast. Yeah.
And I can't wait till we do our new song, Alice. It's going to be dope.
I'm looking forward to that. Yes.
I'm actually serious. I just want you to know that.
No,
okay.
I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I would love to. I would love to connect on that too. That sounds awesome. Wonderful.
Awesome. Check out my acoustic song called Control. It came out last year. There's a rock version of it, but there's also this new acoustic version that I put out, I want to say in August. Just to kind of get a little vibe. And you have my number, so we can communicate. And if you have some ideas, send it over. I can write, and you can write with me. We can collab.
Perfect.
Put it on the side B of the Your Greatest Legacy is You project.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. I would love to do that. Perfect.
Okay. You guys heard it.
Yeah, it's sealed in now.
It's sealed in. It's going down.
All right. Thank you, Alfred.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us for Take Notice Amplifying Black Stories. Please subscribe and follow us on social media. We are at Take Notice Podcast. It would really help us out if you could take a couple of minutes to review our podcast. You can do so through your podcast app or by visiting our website. It's takenoticepodcast.org. Thank you for your support. Take Notice Amplifying Black Stories is produced, hosted, and edited by Allison Preisinger Higgins with help from many. Music by Version Big 5 featuring Darius Higgins. Thank you for being with us, and thank you for taking notice.
Smiles and